my premise when I created this training about build your business off, not without social media, was without being a slave to like this content generation that we feel like we have to do on social media. So that to me, I was like, and in the webinar, I was like, I use social media. Here's how I use it. I love it. I think it's great for your business. Here's what you don't need to do. So like networking, connections, like I have tons of business colleagues and friends that I like chat with on Instagram, or that, it's good for those types of networking things, but you don't need to be creating endless images in Canva and then spending all this time writing captions and researching hashtags and making 1,000 reels and doing the dances and the pointing. Like that whole thing, that whole literal song and dance doesn't need to happen. You don't need to do that. So I do think there's a place for social media, and you still don't have to be on it at all. But I think that if you are going to be on it, there's better ways to use it than for creating content.
Right. It's like you don't have to be broadcasting. You can be engaging.
Yeah.
You don't have to be leading the conversation on social media. You could spend your time, going through other people's posts and commenting and DMing them and starting those conversations that you can then, either keep them on social and, like you said, stay in touch with people and see what's going on in their lives, or take that conversation offline too, like, oh, I'm going to DM you about this, but then maybe we could have a coffee chat. Maybe we could have a chance for this relationship to go deeper. Can you come on my podcast and talk about this? Those kinds of conversations sometimes it can be easier to introduce yourself on social, but that doesn't mean that's the only way to do that, or even the best way to do that.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I've had students come to me and be like, hey, I'm doing all the things, look at my social. And I look at it and I'm like, it's beautiful. It's way nicer than mine. They've got, all the images look really good. But when I look through it, I'm like, how much time this is content every day. And they're like, yeah, it's like a full-time job. And when I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what you sell. So this is really like, I have no idea what this is about. So the whole content creation thing, I think, is just, no matter where you're creating content, you have to have all those clear foundations. But I just think we don't need to be doing it on social.
So how are you using social for promoting your business, your program?
So currently, we have a group program. It is, it's on an evergreen funnel. And so, once you get into funnels, you need a lot of people coming into it. And
yes.
so we have a scaled business. I'm not a one-on-one coach, just to make that clear. I work with one-on-one coaches, but I do not have a one-on-one business. So I think that's a really, really important distinction when I talk about this, because what I do is not what I think my clients should do. And it's not how I grew my business to the first 6 figures at least. So the strategies change as you scale. So currently we do run Facebook ads. I'm kind of considering stopping. They're not great. The heyday is over for sure, but we do still run Facebook ads. We have our Facebook group where, again, people join. We are doing very minimal things in there. I have paid groups. So like my program has a group, and that's the one that I engage in for my paid students. Yeah. And then we have a full-time marketing person on our team. And so her whole role is organic marketing. So like all of the things lead gen that aren't paid ads. And part of that is social media. So she's on there, and we've had this for years, kind of with playing with different strategies where we had somebody doing our Instagram. So like writing the captions, writing the posts, posting the stories, like doing all of that stuff. And she's lovely. She does an amazing job. Her strategy is great. It's still a slow build. Like I think we have 4,000 people following us on Instagram, and we have quite a big business otherwise. And I still am not convinced that it's like the best use of where our marketing team's time should be. So it's growing and it's nice to have, and we can afford to have a full-time team member who's working on that strategy. But I'm still like, maybe we actually, what if we stopped Instagram? What if we put that effort into like some of these other strategies? Because I think also I was eager to hire it out when I was new. When I started my business, I was eager to be like, I need someone doing my social. And for sure, that would not have been the best use of my money at that stage. You said
something really interesting, which is we can afford to have somebody doing our social media. Like we can afford to do that, but not everyone can afford to do that. So if you don't want to outsource it and you can't afford to, and you don't want to do it yourself, like you can kind of make the decision of, do I want to delegate? Do I want to eliminate? Do I want to streamline? And I'm sure with having somebody whose full-time job is marketing this business, like there are ways that social media is a part of it without it being the driving force, where it's like, oh, you were just on a podcast episode, you wrote a blog post, you're creating some sort of content, you're using these collaborative relationships, you have these emails that are going out, and hey, let's repurpose that and throw it up with a picture and add a caption. Right? Like it's not like social's leading it.